Hello everybody, it's Shay here, and today I'm going to do my kind of 5 tips for anyone looking into getting into retro game collecting, or just game collecting in general really. It doesn't necessarily have to be retro. But yeah, obviously, it's a hobby that's really popular. Everyone's getting into it, certain systems will have different booms at different times. So yeah, these are just a few tips for you guys who are into it or just getting into it now. I've been a collector for basically since I've been into gaming. Really kind of, I would say for about a decade, I've got more hardcore into collecting. I have my own ways of doing it, we all collect in different ways, but these are kind of more broad things to get you started really. Obviously, yeah, let's just get into it. Number 1, I think it's important to always do your research. This is pretty much in everything in life. I think this is important, but when it comes to retro game collecting, I think it's really important. And it's something that's just so easy to do because YouTube is a thing now, and there's all these online forums. It's so easy to just get all the information you want now. Like, you guys getting into it now are really friggin' lucky because it's so easy. All you gotta do is go onto YouTube or Google, type in a particular system, and you got all of this resource there. You can go to specific channels on YouTube. You can go into you go to Metal Jesus Rocks. He has buying guides for a bunch of systems. Bit more of a basic thing, but it's there. I've got a couple of buying guides for systems. Wii U, not great, as great as some people, but I've done a few for like the Wii U, the PS2, 3DS. There's some resources there for you if you're interested. You go to people like GameCube Galaxy. He's a guy who does just specifically GameCube. That's just to name a few things. So you can go a bit more broad with retro game collectors, or you can go hyper specific. It's all there. The information is there for you in video format, easily digestible. And obviously you've got online. You probably go to places like Reddit and all these different websites dedicated to specific systems. You have wikis made for just very specific systems. So if you're looking to get into like Neo Geo CD, you've got resources there. You have a complete list of all of the games, breakdowns of the different systems and all that. So it's all there for you. Don't worry, it's just really easy thing, and it's something you should always start off by doing. So yeah, that brings me on to the next point. Point number 2, which I think goes hand in hand, which is start off small. I think it's always important to do this. To get a bit more specific, what I mean is I think you should always start off with a single system and probably just a few games and see how you feel about it. Because the thing is, you don't want to do what some people do, where they just have all this disposable income now, they just blow a load of cash, buy I don't know, they'll get like a Wii U and like all 200 games straight up like that. I think you're not going to have a lot of fun doing it like that, because there is fun to be had with this, and I think starting off slow is a good way to do it, just because you start off with for example, you want to get like a Super Nintendo, let's say, and they just get like a few games, like start off, even if it's like a few of the big ones, like bloody A Link to the Past, Super Mario World, and a few other little games like that. Just start off like that, and then you can go into the more obscure hidden gemmy type games and all that. Obviously this kind of goes hand in hand with the next point, which I'm going to make, point number 3, which is work out what kind of collector you're going to be. Okay, so this I think is probably one of the bigger things really, because are you doing this as a nostalgia thing? I played a few of these games when I was a kid, I want to re-experience that, that's fair enough. Are you doing this as like, I'm a shelf collector who's doing it just aesthetically, I just want a really cool game room, just like I saw this particular YouTuber I watched who, I want to emulate that YouTuber and do my own thing? That's perfectly fine. Or are you doing this as more an investment thing? Are you going into the sealed game sort of market and looking at it as a long-term thing? Work out all that shit first, budget accordingly, plan out what you're gonna, how you're gonna make your room and all that. And yeah, that's important, you know, work out, like I said, work out what kind of collector you are, you know, it's a really big win, I would say, or you're doing yourself, it's just important long term, because, you know, you don't want to just go like gung-ho, like I said, and just like go mad and loads of things and lose track of everything, you know, it's just an important thing to do, you know. For example, for me anyway, I'm the kind of guy who I collect for specific series, if that makes sense, just to give an example. You know, like anything Final Fantasy related, I'm all about that. So like, you know, obviously I kind of fell into being a Final Fantasy collector, if that makes sense, because obviously I'm a fan of the series, so I've been buying all of the games basically as they're coming out. But then obviously other random things I've got, like, you know, just recently, like I picked up the PSP version of Final Fantasy 3, just a like awesome oddity that I just wanted. And yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun if you do that. If you work out how you're gonna go about this, you know, it's just so cool, like hunting down different Final Fantasy things. Like I also picked up, like, I don't know why, I started a Vinted kind of I started a Vinted account. I just want to see what sort of things were on there, and then like one of the first things to pop up was someone selling a bunch of Final Fantasy books, and I got the Japanese Final Fantasy X Ultimania, which I can't even bloody read, but I just found it cheap, and I was like, that's a cool thing to have in the collection. And yeah, that's just how fun it can be when you figure out what kind of collector you are, you know. Or like I said, if you're going to be a shelf collector, it's going to be cool finding, like, you know, the mint condition version or really cool looking version of something like, I don't know, Phantasy Star Online or something, I don't know, for like the Dreamcast or something. You can't use it, but I mean, you know, you're not really playing it at that point, are you? So, and a really pristine, you know, because the thing is with the, obviously if you're going into it for the aesthetics, you're going to want like the cool ones to kind of, because obviously for you guys, you'll want to like take pictures and post it online and do videos and all that sort of stuff about your collection. So yeah, finding like, I don't know, like a Sega Sports Dreamcast or something like that from Japan, or getting that really cool Spice Orange GameCube and all that sort of stuff, that's really cool. Obviously, you know, some people like to collect specifically for systems, don't they? Or they like to collect variants of systems. That's another type of collector you could be. But yeah, that's always a really cool thing. The fourth, I would say this is a really big one as well, which is don't pay crazy prices, or let me phrase that better. It's always good to be patient when it comes to playing this. Don't, you know, just because you want a game, don't just run out there and just straight away buy, like, you know, spend over 100 quid for like Fatal Frame 2 or something. I just say that because I picked that up recently. Project Zero 2. Like, I always wanted to play this game. I have the Wii version already, which I bought day one, but obviously the PS2 version has been a thing for, you know, is kind of recognized as the better version, or like the best version. So I always want to hunt this down. And this thing was going for like over 100 quid for ages, and I was really patient, waited a few years, and I happened to find a version of this game for like 70 quid, I think it was, which is still expensive, but I managed to make a saving. So it works. You know, you're only benefiting yourself doing that, you know. You don't, just because people are pricing things crazy, or just because a certain game is so expensive, doesn't mean you're never going to find it when it gets lower. You know, look at bloody 3DS. Let's just talk about that. During the whole lockdown thing, this was one of the systems that like went crazy, but yeah, now it's all really fucking cheap. So just be patient, wait. It's not a you know, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon when collecting, and it's a thing, a hobby, as well as, you know, as a hobby, it's something you're gonna enjoy over a period of time. So just yeah, like I said, be patient, take your time, don't just pay crazy prices, okay? You're gonna really be, you know, your bank account's gonna thank you for that. Yeah, and just because you have a lot of money to spend doesn't mean you have to just throw it at particular, you know, at games as well, you know, because then you're just gonna like affect the other collectors out there as well. So yeah, but yeah, that's point 4, and yeah, the final one. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but have fun with it, you know? You don't just, because this is a hobby, you don't have to, you know, some people, they take all this stuff way too seriously and they end up not enjoying it. Like I said, when you kind of, you get into this hobby and you just want to throw all this, you just want to quickly get these collections out of the way and get the next one, blah, blah, blah. And you, at that point, you're just becoming a hoarder and you're not having fun. And yeah, don't ever view it as work, you know? Just enjoy it, have fun, you know? Look at the cool kind of variations of particular games for systems, or you know, doing all of that research and figuring it out is all really fun and part of the fun. So yeah, just go out there and have a good time, you know? Yeah, another thing, I guess you could call this a bonus point, but I really think that you know, you should also not always be willing to come out of your comfort zone as well when it comes to things as well. So, you know, by this I mean be willing to try like games that you maybe wouldn't have, you know. For example, you know, like I was saying with the Sega Saturn, I obviously I'm more of an RPG, beat 'em up, that sort of a guy, horror game guy, but I'm gonna try to reach up here and grab it. But you know, I decided I want to try some racing games, a genre that I'm not big into, but there's some pretty fun ones on the system. So yeah, I picked up this Destruction Derby game and it was a good time. Yeah, you know, that's a part of the fun, is trying new things, experimenting, having fun, like I said. And that's definitely one way you can do that, by just kind of going out of your comfort zone and trying something new, you know. But yeah, obviously, to close things off now, because I've been rambling on for a while now, obviously the whole thing when it comes to collecting is, you know, it's just, it's a hobby that it's always gonna, price-wise, gonna fluctuate. There's always going to be the big hot release, or the new hotness that people want to jump to, and all that stuff. Just do things your way. There's no, you know, just because like earlier, yeah, 360 was the hype, everyone wanted to jump on it, doesn't mean you have to do that, you know. Do your own thing. There's no right or wrong way to collect. You do you and have fun, okay? Anyway, have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next one.